Hey there, colleague. How are you doing? Welcome to pop-up debate number 6. Here's our prompt. It's a nice unit review prompt that we did. I've got a test coming up for unit 4. I want the kids thinking about these really important resistance movements that developed in response to the growth of empires between 1450 and 1750. And I want to get the rest of PVLEGS taught. So in the video clips that follow, you're going to see me introducing PVLEGS to the students, first by reviewing what I call the preventative PVLEGS parts: poise, eye contact, and voice. So these prevent you from being judged poorly by your listener. And then I introduce the proactive elements of Eric Palmer's PVLEGS: life, gestures, and speed. These allow speakers to not just view you neutrally, but to view you positively. And then I've included a lot of clips from class of me reinforcing certain things during the debate. So you're gonna see me doing things like snapping. You'll hear students in the background doing some snapping. That's a way that we quietly, non-disruptively applaud folks who are speaking. I'm seeing more of that. You're gonna see me reaffirm some things that I've taught before. When students present those things, you'll see a few moments where I react really strongly to what a student has says and try to get up and I really go over the top with my excitement, because I'm seeking to help the kids taste that this is good, that having these intellectual conversations in class can be actually quite enjoyable, fun, rewarding. So I'll be quiet and I'll show you the instruction, and I've included those clips of me during the debate so that you can see what it actually looked like today in my little classroom during pop-up debate number 6. We've talked about a lot of different things with public speaking. The 3 that we focus on with PVLEGS are poise, voice, and eye contact. So, just as a reminder, what do we mean by avoiding distracting behaviors for poise? What is that actually about? Yeah, fidgeting and like filler words. So we can remember that as the F and Fs, fidgeting and fillers. That's poise. Voice, it's just about making sure that everyone can hear everything that you say. And eye contact is connecting your eyes with who? Everyone you're speaking to. If you're in a job interview, it's with the job interviewer. If you're in a whole class, it's attempting to make eye contact with everyone in the class. If you're speaking to a teacher, it's looking at them. Your parents, looking at both of them. So I would call each of these things that we've covered so far as preventative delivery skills. These prevent people from judging you poorly. You know what I'm saying? Because if you say like a million times, they're gonna judge you poorly. If you always look at the floor, they're gonna judge you poorly. If you don't speak loud enough to be heard, you'll be judged poorly. The next 3 are gonna be proactive tools. Things that you can do to not just be judged neutrally, but to be judged positively. So the first one I want us to add is life. Life is expressing passion or emotion with your voice. So there is much in verbal speech that is not said explicitly, but that is communicated by how you say it. For example, if I say teenagers would never do that, it's much different in meaning than teenagers would never do that, or teenagers would never do that. Teenagers would never do that. I'm saying the same words every time, but I'm communicating different messages, aren't I? There's different communicative layers that I'm bringing in just through emphasis. That's life. I want you to think about life as a pro move. That's what you work on when you've dealt with your distracting behaviors and the things that get in the way. Another pro move is gestures. Now, how many of you have seen a speaker who takes gestures a little too far? And they're just like, it's like they're trying to get in their steps while they talk. That's not what we're talking about. This is, in real life, the real world, it's not about doing a ton of movement with your hands. It's about using your hands on purpose. So an example of this would be today, if you stand up and say, I don't know, Queen Nzinga was the most important resistance movement for 2 reasons. Number 1, number 2. That's an effective, intentional way to deliver a point. That's a big difference between the person who's just kind of expressing themselves with their hands, but it actually isn't, it's not creating meaning. But there is another part of the body that I would say is even more important, and that's your face. The face is the most communicative visual part of your body, way more than your hands. So what you do with your face has a huge impact on how people receive your speech. And then last, we have posture. An example from last debate. Many of you wisely used your notes to help you from forgetting what you were going to talk about. That's great. But some of you kept the notebook on the desk, and as a result, the posture that you were presenting us with, not to mention the eye contact you're presenting us with, was a lot of this kind of hunched over, bent over thing. Very easy solution is to pick the notebook up so that your posture is able to be more straight, which communicates more confidence and authority. And last, we have speed. Speed is about not going too slow or too fast. You ever had a teacher who talks super fast and it can even make you kind of anxious? I can feel anxious when someone's talking to me for a long time and it's very fast and there's no pauses. I can start to feel anxious just because my brain can't process all that. I need a pause. Now, of course, what's the problem with pausing too much or having too much slowness? It can be hard to pay attention to you. I lose interest. You know what I mean? So speed is challenging because speed, you always kind of got to be, it's like what we're trying to do by practicing these is build a part of our brain that can function at the same time as the part of our brain that's deciding what the heck to say. Do you see how this is very challenging to work on this stuff? It's almost like you're installing another app in the software of your brain. An app that can run simultaneously with the part that's doing the talking and can analyze, okay, how am I holding people's attention? How am I using my hands to help me to communicate? How might I be distracting people with fidgets or fillers? So now that I've introduced these remaining elements of PVLEGS, I want to give them an activity before we start the pop-up debate that will get them identifying an aspect of PVLEGS to work on and also get them rehearsing what they're going to say in the debate. Because a goal that I have is that more of them will stand up and speak without me calling on them, and that's going to require more confidence, so this little extra practice is key. So for today, I've just introduced 3 new ones to you. I just want you to put a star in the margin next to the one that you'd like to work on for yourself, just for today. And this is the second to last time when you will not have watched a video of yourself speaking in my class. Judgment Day is coming. Pop-up debate next. That one will be videotaped. The video will be posted on a private Google Drive folder for our eyes only for 24 hours. And you will be able to access that, see yourself speak, and you're going to do your first job of assessing yourself on PVLEGS. And you're going to say, where do you think that you rank on each of these categories? And that's going to, guys, be painful, but also so helpful, because that knowledge is going to empower you to start to make changes really rapidly. I've never improved so much as a public speaker as when I started to watch myself speak. Because who's the most critical person of you as a speaker? Definitely you. Other people, no offense to other people, but we just don't care that much about how you sound, do we? We are way more interested, though, when we watch ourselves. We're like so... Well, you guys told me yesterday not to say cringe. What are some of the synonyms? Horrendous. Yeah. Yeah, yesterday you guys really renewed my faith in your generation because you basically use like actual words to describe things, which is really a winsome quality. So what I want you to do now is share with your partner 2 items. And we'll start with the partner closest to the window. Item number 1, which of these did you pick to focus on today and why? Do you think that's important? Item number 2, what are you going to say today? What is your speech going to be about? Which of the rebellions is most important and why? Go ahead. You have just successfully stated your argument to another human being. The seal is broken. You've jumped off the diving board. All you have to do today is do that one more time. I want to encourage you to try to not let me catch you. I'll allow there to be a bit more pauses today to give you time. I may periodically ask you to think, pair, share if we get to a lull. Just because I want more of you today to have that feel of what is it like to stand up yourself. There is also another interesting hack that we discovered last hour, another argument for going early. when you go early, what percentage of people are going to be thinking super hard about what you say and how you say it? High or low? Low, because what are they most likely preoccupied with?
What am I going to say?
Themselves. But we are a place of love, justice, harmony, peace, goodness, wisdom, might, glory, power, and insight.
Naming off words.
So don't
Like
be
Care
afraid.
Bears. We're naming off Care Bears. That's
I
what
was
it's about.
naming off words from a thesaurus like you guys do, because I'm being hip by using a thesaurus, because that's what's cool now, and I have hope for the world. All right, without further ado, here is our prompt. Go ahead.
Let you see some of the interruptions that I made during the debate to try to spur the students on toward love and good deeds.
Pause. If you have something different to say, but you're not sure how to interrupt without sounding like a dweeb, use this or something like it. This is a very simple transition that you can use in a discussion to get things into a new topic.
There's some more tension because it started.
Great diversity of answers, guys. I know that there's some of you who have things that still haven't been said, though, too, in terms of other conflicts. So, encourage you guys to keep those ideas getting on the table. Excellent work, guys. You guys are doing really good. Really good. A common problem at this point is you feel like your idea has already been set. True? Okay. What I would say is there any little extra angle you could take on it? Even a different emphasis on it? Because by now, you know, on my tally, let's see. If you have written down Marathas, there's been at least 7 people who've talked about Marathas. So probably there's nothing new to say about Marathas. However, there is a chance to emphasize certain points about the Marathas that you think are extra important for their inclusion. You get what I'm saying? So it's not about saying something before someone else says it, because we are playing with so many more layers of communication than just content. So you can just emphasize it differently. I'm doing it. I'm calling her out. Homegirl did not go with what she answered for the warm-up, did she?
No.
What homegirl did instead is she said, wait a second, and then what did she say? I'm gonna switch it up, Hannah. That is right. That is right. That's called versatility. That's called being attentive to the surroundings and saying, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. Did she sound terribly stupid, uneducated, and ignorant with her new idea? Of course not. Of course not. She sounded great. Y'all sound great. You sound great. I keep emphasizing with this video how you're going to be in pain. And you will. Deep spiritual existential pain. But like what I also want you guys to see once you start to watch yourselves is you also sound amazing. Like you're doing things most freshmen can't do. You are. Because most freshmen don't speak in whole class situations on a regular basis as you do. Heck, most seniors don't.
Without a doubt, the Cossack rebellion of the Pugachev rebellion was the most important.
Excellent eye contact on that. Korbachi hit us.
All right. I think the Pugachev rebellion deserves more attention because, while the serfs may not have won like the Maratha rebellion did, they did their best. They showed that they were truly more than just land-bound property. They took their stand.
Okay.
They truly stood up to their power. And sure, they may not have won, but later around the 1860s, they got their way. It might have took a while, but it happened.
That's a get. That's life. That's life right there, guys. That's what I'm talking about. It's a little special sauce. Nice eye contact. I saw that. You made that more specific. That was money. That was money. Fachi.
debate is over, I quickly and immediately shift into post-debate reflection so we can identify areas we were strong as a class and areas where we were weak.
Reflection questions for you guys, just in your head. What can we, as a class, work on to make this even better? What can we, as a class, be proud of because we've improved in this area? So think bigger than any one person, any couple of people. Think about patterns you noticed. So for improvement, areas for improvement, what did you guys think of? Lakeland?
Probably words, like, probably more than, I probably did it, like, probably more than half the class was ums and likes.
Yes, yes. And that is going to give us so much power as speakers when we get our handle on that. Great. What else?
Maybe like being more sure of ourselves
Yes.
instead of saying like probably or I think or maybe.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm thinking there were several very confident answers that were obvious,
She said without a doubt, that was it.
but without a doubt as a starter is very strong. And I felt you all towards him when he said that because the language power is there. Sam, your life was another great one. Again, there were many examples I thought of confident speech, but removing things like I think will help. It will help assert some more confidence. Believe.
Confidence too, but we need to like be more confident when we say words that we're unsure of. Like, I know I quiet down when I say a word I don't know.
That's true, Aaliyah. That's really good. That's a voice thing, and it's a poise thing. Poise is it's just saying the word, no matter how mispronounced it is, being unafraid. Okay, where can we? Q, another one. Yeah, good things. Eye contact I thought was really getting stronger. I don't feel like I'm being stared at as much, which is good, because am I the only audience? No. In fact, I very much want to say I'm the least important audience member. The discussion is meant to be a student discussion. Bethlehem. Everybody spoke louder, I agree. Voice was better. Do you want to know how your voluntary stand-ups compared to first hour?
Absolutely.
Favorably. Favorably. You had many more. I commend you on that because, again, it's not bad for me to call on you. That's not a shame thing. But it does just add energy to the debate when you don't hear the teacher's voice and it's just you guys. I will also say diversity of ideas was stronger in here. Shoot, Lakeland, that's what you're going to say?
I would say like the kindness was a little better this time. Like if someone disagreed, they weren't like, I disagree and you're wrong.
Yeah, they got rid of that snark. That's right. Which makes the debate more interesting and less horrendous. Not cringy, I almost said cringy. Less displeasurable.
Oh, that's a good word.
All right, get out your map. I'm going to give you a few practice quiz questions.